Has anyone ever told you the raw truth about life beyond 80? Crossing into your 80s isn't just another birthday milestone. It's a quiet transformation most people never speak about. Not just the slower pace or the grayer hair, but the deeper, more personal shifts. It's a chapter shaped by wisdom and loss, calm and solitude, gentle joy and silent aches. And unless someone shows you what to expect, these changes can arrive like a surprise storm. You're left wondering, why didn't anyone prepare me? In this video, we'll walk through 5 tough truths about life after 80. This isn't meant to scare or dishearten you, but to shine a light. Because once you understand what's coming, you stop fearing it. You face it with strength, with grace, with readiness. We'll talk about shrinking circles, a body that won't recover like it used to, the quiet need for help, the slow fading of visibility in society, and the ache of old regrets mingling with too much time and too few new roles. Stay with us to the end. These truths might feel heavy, but they open doors to acceptance, resilience, and a renewed sense of power in shaping your final chapters. Because no one but you gets to define what your last act looks like. Let's begin. Truth number 1, the disappearing circle. What fades first after 80 isn't your energy or your memory. It's your social world. One by one, the people who filled your life start slipping away. Some pass on. Others move closer to their children. Some just slowly stop calling. It's not rejection. It's time moving forward. But it leaves a space that feels unfamiliar. The phone doesn't ring as often. Conversations grow rare. Family visits feel shorter, more distracted. The noise that once filled your kitchen, laughter, stories, footsteps, quiets into something thinner. In your 60s and 70s, the world still feels full. But post 80, the energy shifts. You begin to outlive friends. You begin to notice silence where there used to be presence. Take Walter, 84. He went to the same cafe every day. The barista knew his name. His friends met him without texts. It was tradition, but slowly that circle dissolved. He once said, "It's strange walking into a place where everyone once knew you, and now you're just a face in the corner booth." Loneliness at this age isn't loud. It shows up in the silence after dinner, in shorter holiday cards, in empty chairs. It's the weight of being deeply known by fewer people with each year. But there's strength in naming it. Because once you see it, you can act. You can reach out, write letters, host Sunday lunches, join a walking group. After 80, connection isn't automatic, it's intentional. And it takes courage. But you walked a long road. That courage is already inside you. Truth number 2, a body that stops bouncing back. Your body, after 80, no longer sends soft signals. It speaks plainly. What used to be a brief ache now lingers. What a nap once fixed now stretches into the next day. And sometimes the smallest issues, dizziness, a cough, a minor pain, can reshape your life overnight. You could be feeling fine, going through your day as usual. Then suddenly something changes. You're in a waiting room, hearing terms like monitoring or hospital admission. That's the shift. Small issues take on larger shadows. And the bounce back? It's not what it was. The hardest part isn't the discomfort. It's the unpredictability. You can eat well, sleep enough, stay active, and still feel like your body's writing a script you didn't agree to. Gloria, 81, was sharp and active, tending her garden daily. Then one minor fall changed everything. "I thought I was just taking a break," she said, "but my body treated it like retirement." The rest she needed became a turning point. Her energy didn't return the same. This is the truth no one says out loud. After 80, recovery slows. Sometimes it doesn't fully come, but there's still power in this knowledge. You begin treating your body not as something to push, but something to honor. You pace yourself, not from fear, but from deep respect. You begin to see strength not in speed, but in awareness. Even if the bounce is gone, your footing becomes more careful, more intentional. And that kind of care creates its own kind of strength. Truth number 3, the growing need for help. Independence runs deep. But one of the quiet struggles after 80 is needing help in places you once moved through without thought. At first, it's small. avoiding the high shelf, bracing yourself before stepping into the tub, driving a bit slower, a bit less. But over time, these shifts add up. And it's not just physical, it's emotional. If you've spent a life taking care of others, the idea of becoming the one who needs care can feel almost unbearable. You might hide your limits, skip outings rather than admit you're tired. Try to change a light bulb even if your shoulder aches. But this is the truth. Independence after 80 doesn't mean doing everything alone. It means knowing when to accept a hand and realizing that's a form of strength, not weakness. Eugene, 85, was a proud man. A builder, a father, a do-it-yourself spirit. But after one icy fall, his daughter started visiting weekly. At first, he resisted. But slowly, those visits became precious. "It's nice," he finally said, "not having to carry everything alone. Help can come in many forms: a handrail, a stool, a weekly phone call. These things don't take your dignity. They preserve it. And the older you grow, the more powerful it becomes to choose safety over pride, peace over struggle. Knowing when to say, 'I could use a hand,' is one of the bravest acts of aging well." Truth number 4, becoming less visible. One of the most painful truths after 80 isn't about your health or memory. It's about being overlooked. In a world that races forward, youth gets the spotlight. And slowly, without even noticing, your presence begins to fade into the background. The cashier talks to your son instead of you. The doctor explains things like you're not in the room. People call you sweet instead of smart. You feel your identity slipping into a label: elderly, fragile, retired. And it hurts, not because you want attention, but because you still are someone, with a voice, stories, opinions, worth. This invisibility can make you question your place. But here's the truth: your value didn't expire. It evolved. You have lived decades of moments, survived storms, carried burdens others haven't seen. That's not just experience. That's depth. That's insight. So speak. Join conversations. Share your stories. Be visible on your terms. The world might not always make space for the elderly, but that doesn't mean you shrink. Make your voice part of the room. Whether it's at a family dinner, a church group, or a volunteer board, remind others and yourself that you're still here, still valuable, still growing. Truth number 5, the quiet ache of regret and purpose. As time stretches ahead with fewer distractions, something begins to surface. Regret, not always loud or sharp. Sometimes it's just a quiet ache. Roads not taken, words left unsaid, dreams that faded. And when you're not busy like before, those memories sit closer to the surface. The hardest part? The feeling that your best contributions are behind you, that you're no longer needed the way you once were. But here's what's rarely said: your purpose doesn't retire. It changes shape. You may not be raising kids or building a career, but your wisdom, your presence, your perspective are more valuable than ever. A single story shared can shift a grandchild's path. A kind word to a neighbor can echo for days. A handwritten letter can become someone's treasured memory. You don't need a big stage. You just need intention. And regret? It's real, but it's also a teacher. If you feel it, listen to it, but don't live in it. Use it to do now what you once avoided. Speak the truth. Forgive. Reconnect. Begin again, even now. In closing, these truths: loneliness, a slowing body, needing help, being overlooked, and the ache of purpose, they're not meant to discourage you. They're here so you can see, because clarity leads to courage, and courage leads to peace. After 80, you can still create, still connect, still define how your story is told. Your dignity isn't given by others. It's shaped by the way you show up each day. Walk forward with your eyes open, your hands steady, your head held high. This chapter may be slower, but it is no less sacred. If this video resonated with you, please comment below with a "still here" or the number of the truth that hit you hardest. And if you haven't subscribed yet, join us. Let's keep these important conversations going. You are not invisible. You are not alone. Let's walk this path together, with strength, with grace, and with heart. Slowly, something shifts. You don't disappear, but the world begins to look through you. Not out of cruelty, just carelessness. The cashier skips you for the next customer. The doctor turns to your adult child as if you weren't sitting right there. The waiter assumes you can't hear, can't decide, can't keep up. It starts small. A missed glance, a patronizing smile. Then, over time, it becomes routine. And even if you tell yourself not to mind, it touches something deeper. Because the truth is, no matter your age, you still want to be acknowledged, to be seen. You've lived decades, worked hard, loved deeply, raised families, built things, fixed things, endured things. And yet now, because your hands tremble or your steps slow, the world sometimes forgets what you've done, and worse, who you still are. The hardest part is knowing it's not personal. It's just a fast world. A world that rewards speed and novelty and forgets that slow steps can still be powerful ones. That graying hair holds not weakness, but stories. And unless you say something, the silence can grow. Not because your voice has faded, but because others have stopped listening. I think of Irene, 86 years old, bright-eyed and sharp. She volunteered at a history museum. One afternoon, a visitor asked about a World War II artifact. Irene had lived through that era, remembered the ration books and sirens. But the question was directed to someone half her age. When I asked if it bothered her, she smiled and said, "I'm used to it." But it was a smile you could feel in your chest, the kind that tries to hide the sting of being overlooked. But Irene is not an exception, and neither are you. You're not invisible. You're not the background of the story. You are still here with memories, thoughts, humor, insight, perspective. And just because others might forget, that doesn't mean you have to. So what can you do? You speak up. You ask the questions. You offer the thoughts. You share your stories, whether people ask or not. You walk into rooms like you belong there, because you do, even if your voice shakes or your knees feel unsure. Every time you take up space, you teach the world and remind yourself that your story is still being written. You're not done. You're not invisible. You're a walking archive, a witness to life's vast sweep, a mind still full of meaning. And you don't need to shout. You only need to stay present and refuse to fade. If you're still here, and this resonates, type number 4 in the comments below. It tells me you're still with me, still thinking, still seen. And if you haven't already subscribed, I hope you do. Turn on that bell icon, because we're creating content that helps you feel empowered, not forgotten. Now let's move into the 5th truth, regret and the need to redefine purpose. There comes a hush in your 80s, not just in your house or schedule, but within. Life gets quieter, slower. The days open up in ways they didn't before. And with that space comes memory. You reflect more. You replay old moments, some warm, others aching. That can be a gift. But sometimes that stillness lets old regrets slip in. They don't shout. They whisper. "I should have called more. Why didn't I take that trip? I wish I had said I'm sorry." Or sometimes I waited too long. It's not that life hasn't been full. It has. But when time opens wide and energy becomes limited, regrets can loom larger. And there's something people rarely mention about growing older. The emptiness that can come when your role in the world seems to shrink. If you've spent years working, raising children, solving problems, and then it all quiets down, it can feel like your purpose packed up and left with it. I remember Stanley, 88 years old, a teacher for 4 decades, loved, respected. But after retirement, he sat one day and said, "I don't think anyone really needs me anymore." That wasn't true, but in that moment, it felt true. He just hadn't yet discovered a new way to be needed. Because here's what matters. Purpose never retires. It evolves. Maybe you're not mentoring a classroom anymore, but you're shaping your grandchildren with every story. Maybe you don't lead meetings, but you show up when someone's grieving. Maybe you no longer solve big business problems, but you brighten your neighbor's loneliness with a simple greeting. You may think the world doesn't notice your presence, but every act of kindness, every memory shared, every moment of stillness, you're giving something vital, not just to others, but to yourself. The danger of regret is not that you have some. We all do. The danger is getting stuck in them. The healing comes when you ask, "What now?" and begin turning past wishes into present choices. Redefining purpose means letting go of the pressure to do and embracing the value of simply being, with compassion, with presence, with heart. The most meaningful work after 80 may not show up in applause or achievement. It may be this: waking up with gentleness in your spirit, looking at the day with curiosity, and asking, how can I bring a little light today in this body, in this moment? That's not regret. That's redemption. And it's never, ever too late to find it. Final thoughts. Reaching your 80s isn't just about surviving the years. It's about everything those years represent. The love you gave, the heartbreak you endured, the growth, the laughter, the losses, the wins. It is a badge of resilience. But with that comes change, often quiet, sometimes jarring. And facing those changes doesn't mean you've lost. It means you're brave enough to look at life with open eyes. So let me ask you, which truth hit you hardest today? Was it the silence that comes when your friendships begin to fade? Was it the slow betrayal of a body that no longer heals like it used to? The vulnerability of needing help after being the helper for so long? The sting of being unseen in a world that races past you? Or the quiet ache of wondering whether your purpose still matters? Whatever it was, I hope it reminded you of something deeper. You're not the only one. You're not alone in these questions, these emotions, these changes. And the beauty is you still get to choose. Even now, you can choose connection over isolation, peace over perfection, grace over guilt. You can choose to forgive what didn't happen and to honor what did, to speak up when you're overlooked and to soften when someone needs your patience. This chapter, it isn't an ending. It's the depth of the story, the part where wisdom replaces speed, where stillness becomes sacred, where your presence speaks louder than any performance ever could. Thank you for sharing this moment with us. Before you go, leave a comment below. Tell us which part of today's message stayed with you and how you might carry it forward. If this video gave you something to think about, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. Your support helps us keep creating thoughtful, soul-nourishing content like this. Until next time, keep showing up, keep being seen, and keep telling your story.